Welcome. This is the third step of the basic method of meditation. In the previous steps, we took care of our body and we arrived in the timeless realm of the present moment. In this step, we will learn the importance of decreasing the flow of our thoughts. And in this way, our mind will make always less noise and we will watch without disturbance the object of our attention as well as the functioning of the mind itself. But all this can happen just in thoughtless awareness. Now, first we will take a glance at the problematic nature of thoughts, and then we will explore its remedy. Now, one of the insights to which monks or very serious meditators usually arrive is that we are not the thinker. We are not the ones who think. We are not the ones who generate our thoughts. And at first this makes no sense because we are used to say something like I think this and I think that. But it's this wrong perception that we are the one who thinks that brings us to identify ourselves with our thoughts. And this leads to a lot of suffering. So, a more correct way to put the previous sentence would be my mind is thinking this and my mind is thinking that. And this change of perspective is enormously important because automatically we are doing one of the most important things that leads to mental health. The recognition of the boundaries between us and our mind. When we are unaware, most of the time, these boundaries collapse and we think we are one. But if we do one step back, that is what we do in meditation, we understand that we are not. So we are not our mind. Maybe for now we can just say we are not our thinking mind. If you watch the introduction at the basic method of meditation, I used the metaphor of an observer watching a beautiful landscape that at the beginning has a lot of fog in front, but then the more he keeps looking, the more the fog vanishes, letting him see a beautiful view. Well, a great part of that fog are our thoughts. Thinking is one of the greatest distortion in our vision of the reality. We are much closer to the truth when we observe without a commentary. Our inner speech causes most of life's problems. It brings us to fear, guilt, anxiety, depression, and most of our thinking is repetitive, negative, and self-judgmental. Everything that we can aspire for in life, like peace, joy, and creativeness, come from inner silence. So, learning how to decrease the flow of our thoughts is an incredibly useful skill, not only in meditation but in our daily life as well. So now let's move to how we can stop thinking. There are two main techniques. The first is to understand that thinking has almost no value at all, and that the end of thinking, inner silence, has a great value, as brings us to peace and wisdom. But of course, it's not that we just tell ourselves not to think and immediately we don't think anymore. Of course, it doesn't work in that way. And if we try, or at worst, if we force ourselves not to think, we will end up more stressed than before, right? It's like say, okay, I don't have to think. Yes, I'm not thinking. Oh yes, but that's another thought. Oh yes, oh yeah, well that's another thought. Okay, so you understand. It's a process that is never end. You know, you don't stop thinking that way. The trick is to value inner silence more than thinking. And once you value one thing more than another, your mind will naturally go in that direction. The second technique is a more practical one, and it consists in recognizing that brief spaces between thoughts, between the end of one thought and the beginning of the next one. And the more you are aware and you enjoy being in that space, the longer it will last. And you do this until your mind is enough silent that being immersed in this thoughtless awareness feels so delightful that it becomes natural for you. But again, don't force this process. It's like in the metaphor of the water. The more you try to calm the water, the more it becomes agitated. But the more you let it be, the more it becomes still. And in the same way, the more we try not to think, the more our mind becomes restless. But the more we are aware and kind, the more our thinking stops. The more our mind becomes peaceful. The fog leaves, the water calms, and we can see through. So now that our body has vanished, that time has vanished, and that our mind is not making too much noise, there is only one thing that keeps moving and that we are doing. We are breathing, and we will take care of that in the next video. So, thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe for more videos about meditation, and I wish you a peaceful and happy day.